Welcome to my channel. My name is Maddie, where I love to talk all things makeup, especially makeup tutorials. Now, this video I did record, but unfortunately my microphone did not work the entire time. I didn't realize it was dead. So I'm going to be doing a voiceover. Here is your little intro into this Moody berry makeup look. Hope you enjoy. First, I am starting out with a eye primer here on my eyelids because this is the best way to get the most color payoff. And I am going to start with doing my eyes before I do the rest of my face because since I am working with such dark colors like these deep berry and plum colors, I don't want the fallout to be all over my face. So it makes the most sense to just start out with my eyes because then I can easily wipe that away and clean all of that up afterwards. Next, I'm going to set it with a little bit of powder so that the eyeshadow really glides onto my eyes very smoothly, doesn't create any skipping, and really creates that clean blank canvas for my eyeshadow to glide onto. I'm first just laying down a really light purple transition shade because your transition shade should really be just 1 to 2 shades darker than your skin tone. It doesn't necessarily have to be, neutral or brown, but if you're working with blues or purples or pinks or greens, it just has to be that 1 to 2 shades darker than your skin tone. And if you have hooded eyes like I do, then you're going to want to create that makeshift crease, not put it in your actual crease, because then it's going to really close off your eyes. I'm also putting it in the outer corner of my eye there, create this depth and dimension to the eye look. Now I'm just using a smaller fluffy blending brush and I'm coming in with an even darker purple to really deepen up that crease. Do keep in mind that wherever you put that brush, it is going to deposit the most amount of color, and then as I sweep it across my eye, that's where it's going to blend and put the rest of the color into my crease. I do set the brush down in different spots and then blend so that I get the most color payoff where I want it. Now I'm going to be coming in with a flat shader brush, and I'm going to be coming in with a little bit of black. Then I will be putting my purple on top of it, and I really want to make sure to pack it on there, and I'm not using a fluffy shader brush because if I do, then it's going to create that skipping. Now I do angle my brush down towards my lash line because this makes sure to get the eyeshadow into all of the creases of my eye. Make sure I don't have any naked skin showing through, because when you're doing a smoky eye like this, that can look really funny to have some of your skin shining through, especially if you have pink or fair skin like I do. You want to make sure that this is smoky. Laying down that base very strongly, making sure that everything is even across my entire eyelid there. And then I'm coming in and putting that purple on top of it. So I'm really creating that depth and dimension between the black and the purple, giving that really deep plum look here. Making sure to bring that black and that berry above my natural crease, remember, because I want to make sure that it shines through and doesn't get hidden in my small hooded eyes. Now I'm just taking some copper and I'm putting this in the center of my eye. And I just want to make sure that I bring that again above my crease so that the shimmer shines through. So I do have my eyes slightly open as I'm putting that shimmer on, and then I will close my eye so that I can see where my crease and above my crease is to meet that in the middle. And if you do get a little bit of shimmer outside of the lines, just go ahead and use a little shader brush to blend that back to where it needs to be. Before I finish up this eye look, I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my face, and this is where I can really take care of all of the fallout and wipe that any extra shimmer away. And as you can see, I have some black in the corner of my eye and some berry. This is just such a crucial step when doing your eyes first, is cleaning up that fallout. Now I'm going to come in with a little bit of face shimmer here. This is just going to give me that extra glow under my foundation. And if you haven't seen my video, this is a dupe and it's only $5. I'll go ahead and link it here on the cards for you. I really like this one because although it is darker than my skin, as you can clearly see, it's very orange, it does actually somewhat color correct my redness, and that is super helpful. Lately, I have really been into using a spatula for applying my foundation. I go through waves, you guys. Sometimes I really like a brush, sometimes I like my fingers, sometimes I like my sponge, but lately I have really been liking my spatula because I was inspired by watching a makeup tutorial of a professional makeup artist in Vietnam who can work in very thin layers but also get the coverage that you need. And with this matte foundation I'm using, actually it is a very thick foundation, and so I find that by using the spatula I'm actually able to put on such a thin layer that you can still see that glow coming through that product that I was wearing, that I put on before, which normally this is very, very full coverage, which it's still very full coverage on my face, but it's such a thin layer that it's not emphasizing my pores or the lines on my face like it normally does. And then I'm just coming in with a brush to blend that out on the rest of my face to really stipple it in there and get to every crevice and pore on my face, so that when I come in with my sponge, I'm just pushing that further into my face and also picking up the excess foundation that is on my face. It is amazing by using this spatula how much less foundation I really need to use. Now I'm coming in with a little bit of color corrector for the corner of my eye because I want to make sure that those blue and purple circles are not being emphasized, especially with doing a smoky eye. It can make my eyes look very heavy and just dark, and I want to make sure that they do have some lightness to them, even though I have a lot of dark eyeshadow on. Now, a little bit of concealer. You really do not need much. I find that I use less concealer, especially when I use a color corrector. If you find that you are just really needing to cake on that concealer time and time again, try using a color corrector underneath. You will be surprised how much less concealer you will need. Also, maybe change up the formula of your concealer that you're using. Here I'm using a liquid concealer, and yes, that does tend to be more fluid, but maybe a little less coverage than, let's say, a potted concealer like my Nars one, which I'm so sad I've used that up, but don't worry, I will be repurchasing that because it is a holy grail for me. Want to make sure to set that concealer, because it is fluid, with some loose setting powder so that it doesn't move and settle into my fine lines I've got under my eyes. Now I am doing just a little bit of contouring with a blush. If you know which blush it is, then leave me a note down in the comments which one you can guess. I've used it many times before on this channel. Now I'm coming in with my bronzer on top and just really making sure to put that way deep into my hairline so I don't have any obvious lines. And when I put it on my cheeks, I kind of put it on the middle of my cheek, not necessarily on my cheekbone or below it, but right at it, so that it doesn't drag my face down too much, because I do have big cheeks. And one thing I have learned recently is also from that same Vietnamese makeup tutorial is to not contour your nose all the way down your nose. So if you do get a little bit too much extra on, like I kind of did, you can just use your finger to dab it off, or use your sponge that has excess foundation on it, and that will just soften that right up. But I've really been liking this technique where I only put it in that small part of the bridge of my nose and then just the end of my nose. Kind of nice not having just a big long stripe down my nose. For my blush here, I'm coming in with a glowy blush. It's one of my absolute favorites for this time of year. It's got some berry, but I want to make sure to not go too heavy with my blush because I do want my eyes to shine through the most. I just want a little bit of color so that I don't look too washed out, because I do have such a smoky eye. I'm going to finish up this eye look by putting just a little bit of that purple color in the outer third of my lash line, but I do not want to follow the entirety of my underline part of my eye because it will really close off my eyes, and I want to make sure to leave them nice and bright and wide open. It would help emphasize the whiteness and the blueness of my eyes, but I want to make sure that they're still nice and wide open. Finishing up with some of that same shimmer that I used in the center of my eyelid in the corner of my eye. I'm going to finish this eye look off with some mascara. Now this is where I want to match berry tones from my eyes to my lips, and I'm using a lip liner that is in berry, and then a berry lipstick. This is where the magic came in. I used a lip oil that was from my sister-in-law for my birthday. It's a Profusion lip oil, and it's the Harry Potter themed one because I love Harry Potter. And it had black, and it just really helped darken this up, and it looked really, really awesome. So if you enjoyed this video, please do not mind the lipstick on my teeth. Clearly, this was a struggle of a video. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and especially subscribe so that I can keep creating more awesome content like this for you guys. And if you want to see more colors like this, I do dip into the world of colors in this video here, going beyond neutrals for fall. I think you'll really enjoy it, and I'll see you there. Bye!